Hello there, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to see how to migrate the identity server to the OpenIddict module. This is the part 13 of the microservice series I did for ABP, and few things changed since the beginning of that series. So by default, right now ABP uses OpenIddict instead of identity server. If you want to know why this change happened, just go and read the issue made by Halil here. He announced the replacement of identity server and explained the background and the problem and then the decisions, all those things. So since the identity server support is ending by 2022, this is a good time to upgrade the microservice to use OpenIddict. And the current version in that microservice is version 5, and the current version of ABP is 6. So we will also update the packages, bring it to the current version, and then get it working. So if you followed the microservice series, this should be straightforward. But if there is any problem, make sure leave a comment and I will try to figure out what the problem is. So what is OpenIddict? OpenIddict is a replacement for identity server in the sense it's not a direct replacement. It's basically a framework, but we have to do quite a bit to get it work. So it's not like identity server where you can just automatically get batch of endpoints. No, you have to configure this by yourself. It supports the OpenID Connect protocols. So it supports all the three flows, which is code, implicit and hybrid flows. And we can also use client credentials, resource owner, grants, all the things we do in our microservice solution. Yeah, and it uses CF Core, so the integration is just straightforward. So what we are going to do is initially we created a temp solution and copied things over. We are going to kind of do the same. We will create a temp solution, but this time we will also create an Angular application because our Angular also changes, and we will create a separate auth server and then copy it over and then make that as our base project for our application. So first, this is the current application. We have identity server. What are the package versions? The package versions are 5.1.4. Yeah, so that's the version of the APP we used. So we leave this alone. Just make sure the project builds. Okay, the project build was successful. Now let's create a folder called temp. Now we have a folder, just cd to temp, and let's create a new task here. So it's going to use the current version, which is 6.0.2, and trying to create initial migration and then do client-side packaging. I will let it do it so that it's easy to copy the files. Okay, our temp solution is ready. I would say just open a file explorer here, and we have two projects. One is Angular and ASP.NET Core. In the ASP.NET Core, we will have auth server, and this is what we want. I will just see this file and then go to my apps folder and then paste it here. Since we installed all the npm packages, it might take a few minutes. Wait for the copy to complete. And now I want to delete the Angular folder because we will replace that with a new Angular project created. Okay, I have deleted the Angular project. Now I will copy the Angular project from the temp folder. Go to apps and then paste. Again, it might take 2 minutes because we are copying the entire folder, which also has the npm modules directory. So give it a minute or two, depending upon your machine. Okay, the new Angular folder is copied. Now we don't need the temp project anymore. Yeah, we'll just go and delete that. Okay, now the temp folder is deleted. Let's move to the next step. So the next step is to just update all the packages using the ABP update command. So you would see that we have the package 5.1.4. You run it so that temp folder is not there. So yeah, so you should run this here in the root folder. Yeah, if you did that, the update. It will just go through all the sub projects and then update each and every package to the latest version. So the current version for me is 6.0.2. I'm not sure when you're updating this, so whatever the latest version you have, it will update it to that version. It also will take a few minutes because we have quite a few projects. So I will pause the video and then come back once it's done. Okay, the PB update ran successfully. Let's go to the next step. The next step is to change the .NET version to 6.0 in all the CSproj files. So I would recommend you to go and then search for the CSproj and then search for Hierarchy Framework. Yeah, seems like most of the project already has 6.0. Let's look for net standard 0.0. Yeah, we just update these projects to net 6 as well. Okay, now next step is to update the tie. It's be simple. Go and add an entry below, and then we are going to use port 7600 for the auth server. And now before configuring, I want to make sure the things are building. So I will just do build. So we updated a lot of packages. So there might be dependency errors. So I want to find out all those dependency errors and fix them. Okay, so there are 17 errors, which is interesting. So identity server is complaining about detected downgrade of identity model 6.0 to 5. So let's find identity model package everywhere. Okay, this is where the problem is. So in the shared, we'll update Verilog identity model to 6. I want to leave these things in 6 because we are still in AP6. We are not on AP7. I will leave it there. Let's see if this fixed some errors. Okay, from 17 to 11. Here Verilog greater than again in shared.hosting. We just have to update the Verilog in identity server 2.1 and project service has. Okay, so it seems like it's complaining about the package Microsoft extension file provider embedded downgraded from 6.0.5 to 6. Let's fix that by changing all the 6.0 to 6.5. Let's see if that reduces a bunch of errors. Okay, that build took a while, but we managed to build it. That's a good sign always. Okay, I will clear the project and then try to build it again just to make sure nothing crazy is happening. Okay, we have a bunch of warnings, but we can deal with that later. First step is to add the newly created application to the solution. So I'll copy this here. Okay. The error says that there is an invalid import. This comes from the last project which created, which doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, so now we have added a solution. Now we have to add these services. Okay, so the first is first we have to add the administration service to the auth project. The next is identity service, and the third is SaaS service, and then the fourth is the shared project. So all these 4 references are necessary for the auth server. So we first add it, and this is where we update the depends on in the auth server module. So come here, Nisharp is work. Okay, so this tasky entity framework module, this is not available anymore. So we remove that and then replace it with all the services we just created or we just added. So just leave everything else as it is, I would say. Yeah, and I think it's also important to update the usings. Yeah, so let's move on to the next step. The next step is to update the RabbitMQ configuration here. So that here, so the auth server configuration for RabbitMQ, update the connection string. Connection string goes here. I think the wording might be wrong. Just make sure the connection string what you provided is. This might be a problem because there is no services at the end. Okay, I will add the services at the end. Yeah. Okay. The next is the cars and redirect URLs. So the entire app section I will update because the self URL and the self URL is right now 9600 because that is the self URL. That's the port we will use to use for the Auth server. The next is to update the launch URL that's inside the properties. Yeah, update this. So the HTTPS port is 7600 and the HTTP port not be the same. Just HTTP port is 7601, HTTP port is 7600. Perfect. Now our Auth server should build and run. Let's see about that. So Auth server has already logged on already. And also I see a bunch of duplicate warning in the entity framework core entity framework projects. Let me check out. So I could more. It's like I have multiple framework. Yeah, I have multiple entries of I think it might be a problem in all the projects. I will go and update those things so that all these annoying warnings go away. Let's update. Let's build again and let's see what happens. Okay, these are from the old locations. Am I here? Yeah, I will just focus. Yeah, remove this. Yeah, we are going to use multi-tenant for sure. There is no need to check. I think in the pages it's also a problem because since we removed the localization, this localization will not work anymore. So what you have to do is come here and then just replace all the localization text. So let's find all for Yelp. So all these. Okay, this should be the final one. Okay, it's anything else? No, not. Let's build again. ASCII entity framework core project does not appear because we deleted it. Remove that. We have administration identity. SAS is missing. Okay, we'll add it again. Okay, now our now our Auth server is building. Let's move on to the next step. We have done up to this place. Now we have to replace the identity server with OpenIddict. So the first step is search for the identity server. So go to search for identity server. In CS Proj, I would say ignore the identity server project because we don't want to change anything, but we need to replace in the identity service. So we have a bunch of NuGet packages here. I would say just searching and replacing with OpenIddict because ABP uses the same convention to name. So if you rename these things, it's perfect. Now you have to change these things in the ES files. Now it kind of gets tricky. You have to make sure you are ignoring all the identity server project. So in the identity server, don't need that. In the administration, yes, we need that. But again, it's in the test project. I will ignore that as well. This is the identity service domain module. Yes, we need that. Yes. This is an identity service domain. Yes. And framework core. These are not the same. It's not available anymore, so I would not replace them. Entity framework core module. This is from migrations. We will update the migrations by ourselves. We don't have to update this. And test. We will delete this file, so we don't need that. And identity data center. We will also delete this file. So yeah, replace this and come to the domain module. Yeah, so shows error because we didn't restore it yet. So first things first. So come here. There are a bunch of things we have to change in this file. So we have identity server DB context that has to change from identity server to OpenIddict, and all these identity server packages are not available anymore. So here it shows once we did the restore, it automatically detects these things are identity server things which are gone, and these tables are identity server tables, so these are gone as well. And this should be configure open, and now we have to bring the OpenIddict tables, so which are these. Just import all the 30 usings. Now we have to add migrations. migrations are here in the EF core project. So I will just go and then add it. First, for that, let's build again, make sure there is no errors. Okay, there's no error. Now let's add the migration. The migration will look in the DB context and then figure out tables to delete and add. So you can come and then see. So it will drop a bunch of tables here and then create bunch of tables. Yeah, once the migration is done, update the database. Okay, the DB migration done here, the database migration. So we will wait for the migration. Before migration, let's create the data seeder. So this is the OpenIddict data seeder because in the migrations we have identity data seeder contrib, and these two files don't make sense anymore because these are based on identity. We will add the new data seeder. The next, the data seeder contrib. Okay, and these two are ready. Probably should build so that DB migrator knows. Okay, the DB migrator says hi hosting providers. I think we have to update the attention.hosting here. Use that hosting in the program.cs. Maybe it's all there. Okay, the build is successful. Our C, yeah, these are errors. It to be detected by OmniSharp. So just run. Okay, it's complaining because I already ran the migrations. So I deleted the database and let's see what happens. Okay, the migration ran successfully. Now let's go and run the Auth server and then make sure we can actually use the Auth server to log in. Okay, it's running on wrong port. Okay, I forgot to update this here. Yeah, I didn't update cell port. Run again and then see. Now we are running in for 7,100. Okay, we have our login page. Let's use the perfect. The login is working. Now let's go to the Angular project and then see can run the whole thing. So we have our Auth server ready, working with the identity service, and the migration, everything running properly. So we also have the entry tie now. So let's run the tie. Now we have both Auth server and the identity server parallel running, but we removed the identity server from the identity service. And let's go to the Angular project, make sure everything is installed. Go to the environment. In the environment, we have an API which is running in 7,500 and the Auth is running in 7,600. Yeah, so for authentication it should go to 7,600. For all the other things it should go to 7,500. Let's start this app. Okay, I started tie this long location. Too many terminals. Our tie has launched. First I want to check the gateway. Not all the projects. Okay, our gateway is up. Okay, the Angular project is running. Invalid scope. The scope provided in there. Yeah, okay. We don't have that scope. We have, Yeah, we have SaaS service, identity service, administration. Find out. Let's update the scope correctly. We don't need the offline access. So these are the scopes we have. So yeah, it should automatically re-render. Yeah, it's generating bundles. So we should be able to refresh and then go. Let's see if it works. Yes. Login is successful, but we haven't. Okay, so seems like we forgot to update the port number from, what is the port number for the identity server? So identity server port number is 7,000. So from 7,000 to 7,600. Most probably this should be done in the JSON file, which is .com. Yeah, so yeah, not on the identity server, but not on the identity server. But in the administration service, the Auth server should be going to 7,600. Yes. Yeah, this is the problem. So I think I missed this in the blog post. So once you created the new Auth server, you have to go and then update the hosts. In the app settings, the Auth server should be pointing to the new Auth server we create, not the old identity server. That was the problem. Now I had to run the tie, rerun the tie again, because it's config change, tie will not get up. But you can leave the Angular running because nothing changed in Angular. Tie is launching. Let's wait for all the microservices to come up. Okay, everything is running. Let's try to log in again. Now we see the administration menu. Finally, it was not an easy migration. There were too many things to change. Well, because it was also a big upgrade. We upgraded the ABP to ABP6, and also we changed the entire Auth server. I hope future migrations are not this big. Yeah, I know this is quite complex. If you are stuck somewhere, just take a look at the repo. I have the repo here. It's called ABP microservices. It has the latest Auth server, everything configured properly. You can also file an issue or comment on this blog post. Yeah, okay, that is already a comment. I was able to resolve this. Okay, yeah, just comment on this. I will look at it when I have some. That's pretty much it for this video. And have a good year, I guess. Happy New Year to everybody, and I will see you next year. Bye.